Another edition of Smarknado. I'm your host, Eric Druckman. With me, as always, the Danaconda, Dirty Dan Sesnit. Dan, how you doing, man? I hope you're in higher spirits this week.
Man, I'm doing good. I'll be honest. This doc nailed it with this new drug that I'm on. So yeah, man, I'm feeling good. Wrestling was good / wild all week. Got a lot accomplished over the last few days. Sativa will do that to you as well. So yeah, man. But shit's been popping off.
Perfect, man. I'm doing great.
I love to hear it, bro.
I am
Love to hear that.
dialed all in on my diet right now. I am dialed in on
Nice.
the workouts. I am just motivated. Went to a training today for my shoot job, just to
Nice.
get better and for more career advancement.
Nice, brother.
So that will be.
I decided to try that drink that you had sent me for the mornings. So not that we're gonna bore everybody with our private,
just let me know. What
thoughts.
do you think of it?
I haven't gotten it yet. It's in the mail still. I'm waiting on it. But I hit on a pair of fucking sneakers the other day that I'm really excited about. Little shit's good.
Yeah.
Afterpay rules.
Yeah.
Much better than last week. So let's chat about wrestling.
Hell yeah, man. Fuck. Did this week not leave just kind of a sour taste in everybody's mouth? At least anyone who has been following the story. And I don't even have to say the wrestler associated with the story, because we wanted to see said wrestler finish the story for quite a long time. At least the majority of the wrestling community can say that. What happens on... So here's the thing. Prior to the Royal Rumble, I was kind of accepting of the fact that we were going to get a Roman Reigns versus Rock WrestleMania, right? I just kind of saw it happening. It's WrestleMania 40. Rock is in power and TKO and all that.
I wouldn't say he's in. I wouldn't say he's in power. He's on the board. There's a lot of board seats. He has a vote, but I know what you're saying.
He has some power.
Yes.
But that being said, with Cody winning the Rumble, with him very visibly pointing at Roman Reigns and mouthing that he's going to take on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, happening at the Rumble. And then him showing up to SmackDown, because, why would you show up to SmackDown seemingly to challenge Roman Reigns? And what we saw transpire was Cody coming out, and I think that there's definitely an uneasiness to his face, and The Rock came out and fucking bro hugged him, and Cody said to Roman, I am going to face you, Roman, but not at WrestleMania. And The Rock comes out. And, I think the fact that, The Rock was there, the initial shock of The Rock being there, the fans went crazy. Fans are still going to go crazy for The Rock. There's certainly going to be a division of people that are not about this whole situation right now. But that being said, it was just a silent stare down between Rock and Roman, and it's going to be set in stone at WrestleMania. They're going to face off. Just so many things to clean up after this, just for the fact of Cody's character. If you're looking at Cody's character, why would he give up his WrestleMania spot that he rightfully earned at Royal Rumble and just give it to The Rock like that? And why would he not want to finish his story? And the fact is also, he has said in media interviews throughout the year and all that, the question has been asked to him with Seth Rollins being on Raw, you're on Raw, why don't you challenge him for that title? And Cody has repeatedly said, no, I'm not really interested in that title. That's not the main title. That's not the title that matters. It's not the title that my dad wanted to win. So where we're at right now is, you have this huge Hollywood type match which is 100% for the sole purpose of people that don't watch wrestling. That's all it's for.
Can I stop you there? Can I stop you there? And I don't mean to be rude about this, but WrestleMania isn't for people who watch wrestling. Let's just get that right out of the way. It isn't. It's not anymore. It's not.
It's not all. It's not. Well, it's for people that watch wrestling, and it's for people that don't watch wrestling. I think that you can say that it's for both of them.
I think it's more geared toward the casual fan than anything else. I think that there's things that are thrown in there to appease fans like you and I, but at the end of the day, it is built on piles of money, and piles of money come from people that only watch WrestleMania. Yeah. So to me, there's it's not about wrestling.
I think the thing that bothers me the most, though, is just how they dangled the carrot in front of us. Like, why even have Cody win the Royal Rumble at all?
Brother,
and have this happen? You know, like it's so much of a cuck to Cody for him to like just give up his fucking spot to The Rock just like that. Like, just don't have him win the Rumble.
When are you guys all going to get on board with me, though? Like, here's the thing. All of you need to get on board with me because you all have to realize that as long as Hunter Hearst Helmsley is in charge of all creative decisions regarding WWE product, Cody Rhodes is not finishing his story. Brother, I am telling you this. I don't care what you say.
I think the spite is there, but I don't think the spite is to the point to where he's never going to finish his story. I mean, the dude has won back-to-back Royal Rumbles. You don't give that to anybody. You don't give that to someone. The last time somebody did that, it was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
If he finishes the story, it will be by the time nobody gives a shit. I'm telling you, man. You could say what you want, but Cody smashed a replica throne of Triple H on national television. There is a level of pettiness that Triple H has always had that you and I will never know.
But
I'm sorry.
I know, and you're gonna stay true to that belief and everything. But at the same time, Cody has repeatedly said in the past that like Triple H is like his wrestling idol. So like I think they have kind of I think that their relationship has gone through ebbs and flows.
I think he's his bitch boy.
I really do. But like, I mean, you're not going to change your mind about it. You think that Triple H is going to be just entirely petty. We're never going to see an end to the story, and that's fine. I do think that it is going to eventually happen.
I take it back. We're going to see an end to the story. That's because I still feel that somehow Paul Levesque is implicated in this whole thing with Vince McMahon. I do. I can't see a world where he didn't.
I'm with you on that too. Just for the sole fact that this is the dude's father-in-law. He works very closely with him on an everyday basis. So like, how does he not know anything that's going on?
Too much connection. But you know what? Like, and how I think I can prove my petty point with what Hunter is doing to Triple H or to CM Punk too. Like, if that Drew McIntyre CM Punk shirt got released, something to that effect got released in AEW, CM Punk would be whining to high fucking heaven. But instead, he got cucked, and Triple H was like, "Nah, we're gonna do this."
Here's the thing, though, is like, Drew's been playing that game with Punk for weeks, you know, like he has been like hitting really low on CM Punk.
But he green-lighted a T-shirt on it?
Yeah, man. He already did
on the guy that you don't remember he called him the doofus son-in-law? You think Triple H still forgets? Like, I don't care how many posed pictures you take, that dude will hold a grudge. I guarantee.
I don't think that the Drew shirt is just the brainchild of Triple H out of the sake of just being petty. I really don't.
I think he has to. I think he greenlights merchandise.
Okay,
and I think that.
Okay, well, you know what? I would have greenlit that too. I because it's funny.
I think it makes CM Punk look like a bitch, and I think that Triple H will. But you want to sell your top merch seller who just happened to get hurt short? by
Drew,
cutting his.
I don't take that much offense to this at all. I think that
I don't know,
Drew
man.
has been hilarious. I think that the graphic that he put up on Raw was great. And if they want to sell it as a T-shirt, that's just in WWE's nature. They've done that all the time. They've done that with so many different
Well, for starters, that's a bitch move because Triple H called the other one a T-shirt company. Remember? So like again, it's a bitch move. So
I don't know, man. I think you can believe what you want to believe. I personally believe that you're reading too much into it, but I
open your eyes, bro.
I take no offense to that shirt being out at all.
I don't either, but this is the same guy that got bent out of shape because somebody said "Cry me a river," real glass. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But he got bitched into a T-shirt that literally is him getting buried on a T-shirt. So, I don't know, man.
It didn't. Yeah. I laughed. I thought it was funny.
I like it too. I actually kind of want one. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's still something that makes him look like a bitch.
Yeah. But in the end, though, the ultimate bitch here is Cody in terms of looking like a bitch in this whole situation. You can't say that this storyline wise, like his character is still just as compelling as it ever was, because it's not. Like, this takes a hit to storylines.
I mean,
that's what really bothers me about this whole thing. Is like we're going to end up getting Seth versus Cody for how many times have we seen that match already?
I think this will be the fifth time. The fifth time on a major show.
And they're fighting over a belt which has been buried.
Totally buried.
Mostly buried as recently as SmackDown by Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns just said this belt is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Throw it the fuck away.
So it makes
that's all that happened there.
Both Cody and Seth look like chump bitches. It does. Like wrestling for this title, and then it's the men that are going to wrestle for the real title, and it leaves a really bad taste in my mouth. Again, like, yeah, it's a business and all that shit, but it still doesn't make it fun for people that watch every single week.
I'm just trying to focus on all the other shit that's going to be on the card. Like, I'm really excited for some other stuff that's sort of formulating, and I'm excited to see how the rest of the card shakes out, because obviously I think we're all going to be disappointed no matter how it all breaks down. So I don't know.
Well,
I guess I'm just gonna have to let it play out.
I am happy with the progression of the Bayley storyline, and we saw that happen on SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean, how it's going, or how it started.
How it started, right here with Damage Control,
and how it's pretty much how it's going. Yeah,
you missed you missed how that actually ended. The picture of Bayley taking out everybody with a lead pipe because she came prepared.
As long as it doesn't revert back to like Hugger Bayley, I'm okay with that. I like this version of Bayley.
I think we're gonna see a true to life version of Bayley, of how she is like in everyday life. I think that we're gonna get the same way you see the real Sami Zayn and Sami Zayn's character. We're gonna see that with Bayley. And I think she is a very genuine person. She doesn't need to be the over the top hugger. I think that there's elements of that gimmick that maybe they could bring back just a little bit, but definitely not like full blown hugger gimmick again.
You mentioned Sami Zayn, and I got to take a side road here because I'm really upset, and it made me really think that and I know AEW is very crowded, and I know that it's very well known that I'm an AEW homer here, but Sami Zayn showed up to the Rumble to thunderous applause, right? Like, the dude came out to a huge fucking pop, and then what has he done since? Right?
They need to have a WrestleMania plan for him, and I think at least right now it's probably going to be Sammy versus Drew.
Yeah,
wouldn't you think?
Yeah, maybe, and fine. But my point was, in AEW, I feel like he would really I don't know, man. Like I think he would get very much the Daniel Bryan treatment when he went back over. You know what I mean? Bryan Danielson.
I would argue that he got the Daniel Bryan treatment in WWE in terms of fan reaction and wanting to see this guy succeed and get to the top.
But now that
And
he's
yeah,
not at the top anymore, I think that he would benefit from being in AEW. I think that that would be a good spot for him, and both him and KO to go back and work with a lot of people they worked with in the Indies as sort of a
yeah,
last hurrah at some point. But I know what you're saying.
at some point, but like I think that there's just so much meat on the bone for Sami Zayn. I think that there is a I don't see him winning like the big title, the WWE Championship. I see him he could certainly have a run with the World Heavyweight Championship. And you know,
He should.
he could.
Theoretically, he really should.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sammy's awesome, man. Yeah, it's just going back to Bailey. I think that her and EO are going to have a fucking excellent match with each other, and I think that it's. I like the fact that that whole turn happened on Friday with the absence of Dakota Kai, so now they can go into the story of where does Dakota's loyalty lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're gonna see how that plays out. But I think that the fans have wanted to get behind Bailey for a while now, and
Yeah.
they're gonna deliver with her, and they definitely have a top baby face on SmackDown.
So now my question for you, this guy, right?
Yeah. Yep.
His plan was reported to be Brock at Mania. And this past week at Raw, it was him and Jey Uso sort of going head to head. So do you think that's the direction they go? And do you even like that if that is?
I don't mind it because I think that Jay is a really strong baby face right now. People are really behind him. I think that they will put on a really strong match with each other if they want to go in the direction of like Jay gets a title shot at Judgment Day, some fucking bullshit finish. He has a right to a match at WrestleMania. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And if Jay is the one to take the belt off of Gunther, I don't love it. But at the same time, like I'm not gonna like throw a fit about it just because like Jay has earned his spot at this point. Gunther has proven his point. And Gunther is prime ready to move on to the main event. So
Gunther made that a main event title. It is main event Jey Uso. It does totally work itself out. You know, I totally understand it. It makes sense. He is a super over baby face. Gunther gets over even more as a heel, beating down Uso. I don't know that I would necessarily want him to win. I think this is Gunther. I'm still on board with you and your concept of Dragunov being the one to sort of be his sort of downfall, right?
Dude, and you know, I think that's a good time for us to kind of change gears to NXT. What happened this past week? Because, like, man, Ilya Dragunov is just such a fucking rare breed of professional wrestler. He is
unlike anybody.
Just like shows this unlimited like gas tank, and he is somebody that like gets beaten down to fucking hell and he just comes back stronger than ever.
Him and Roddy have that sort of same gas tank that we've talked about on Roddy before, where like he has this weird gear where you're like, how the fuck do you even manage that gear? That's not a gear that nearly anybody has, and Dragunov most certainly does.
Yeah, and he is he's special, and I'm glad that he's still the champion of NXT because I think that whoever needs to take that belt off of him needs to be like crazy dominant. And
I
thought it should probably be Obafemi.
I thought this was the time for Trick to be the champ, man. And I know how much you love Dragunov, but right now, think about it, right? If you're just using simple logic,
Mhm.
You have a hole to fill at WrestleMania. In fact, you have multiple holes you kind of have to fill at WrestleMania due to injuries. Why can't you have Trick, who is the hottest babyface in NXT right now, win the title, chauffeur Dragunov right up to the main roster? That's a tailor-made feud to get through this WrestleMania, and have him take the IC title off of Gunther and
Or
make it
if you
a
want to
big Mania
just
moment. I
keep,
don't know, man. I
if
don't
you
know.
want to keep Dragunov strong and take the title off of him, make it a triple threat with Mello and Trick,
At the
and have
next one, yeah.
Trick get the pin on Mello, and he gets the
I
NXT
mean,
title.
yeah, I mean, that would be ultimate, sort of revenge for Trick there. And I you know what? I could get behind that if you want Trick to not, or to Dragunov to stay strong.
I'm just
I
thinking
could
of the
respect that.
context of like you are getting a guy that's going to challenge Gunther, so you
Yeah.
want the guy that's going to challenge Gunther to be a fucking world beater and
You're
doesn't
right.
have like a blemish on his record.
You're right. I completely would agree with you if that were the way to go, but I think that you're really missing the boat if you don't if you have that guy at your disposal. He's clearly main roster ready, like has been for years, if I do say so myself. So why not now when you need somebody to go against Gunther? You need
Absolutely,
it.
and I know we talked about Pete Dunne before being a potential challenger for him.
I think
That's
that's a little ways away.
still possible, but like it looks like that Pete Dunne is going to be in the tag team championship situation.
Yeah.
Uh,
Even
but
you could even go the route of Dragunov takes it off, and then down the road you have a Dunn Dragunov feud, which is dollars and cents, and then more dollars and more cents, right? Like that's a money feud. For it might appeal to an audience of two, but whatever, fuck it, it's gonna bang if it does
Dragunov
happen.
versus Pete Dunne was like the super fight that happened at Progress Wrestling when
Yep.
they debuted in Wembley, not Wembley Stadium, but like
Yeah.
Wembley next door, or I don't know, some other thing called Wembley that's over
Yeah.
there.
Wembley Field.
Maybe it was Wembley Field. I don't know.
I have no fucking idea.
But yeah, that match will fuck for sure.
Right.
Yeah, dude. Just going back, Trick got turned on by Mello. To be honest, like I turned off the show. I didn't think anything was going to happen for some reason.
They got you. They got you. They got you with the fucking trademark. They did. They got you.
Yep.
I don't ever trust them. I don't trust Shawn Michaels.
Well, it
Never
hasn't.
gonna get me.
Well, you shouldn't trust them since it happened with Ciampa and Gargano. Which,
Yes.
by the way, bro, Ciampa and Gargano, I never thought I would say this. Their music is fucking terrible.
It's bad.
I don't like their matching outfits. I think that the fact that they do like the double clapping and pat on the back when they're fucking sitting on the apron together is just fucking cringe and corny. And like I don't know what is going on with them, but like they have just lost their edge.
Yeah,
me.
they took away everything that was cool about them. Like you don't give they never really had like genuinely matching outfits, which felt DIY, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it just something about it doesn't feel right. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, they just feel they feel very inauthentic at this point, which is weird for a band, a team called DIY.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very dorky. Very dorky.
But just going back to, again, done a couple of tangents on this NXT title situation. But, Trick got turned on by Mello. You got to think that at this point, you think that Mello is going to stay on SmackDown at all? Because like he's clearly a heel at this point. He was feuding with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. I think he's going to stay on NXT for a bit. I saw that this whole situation caught the attention of MVP, and MVP showed a video of very similar style that MVP turned on at Matt Hardy like 16 years ago. So that's interesting to me. I would certainly think that the trio of like, there's something I would really like about Melo being there with MVP, and then almost is like the heavy for Melo, like, and Melo's could talk shit to anybody with almost by his side. Like, I think that's a really good thing that they could get going on. It got my wheels moving once I saw that MVP was a fan of what Melo did.
I don't necessarily like to, lump people in because they look similar, but the idea of Obafemi and Omos being like the new Twin Towers as heavies for Carmelo, both of them, would be just so ridiculously sick. Just because they're just two gigantic fucking dudes.
I'm gonna tell you this right now, man. While visually, I am certainly down with that and everything, but I think that what Obafemi proved at Vengeance Day is that he is somebody that can just fucking go. And
He's amazing.
I am super impressed with his performance against Dragon Lee. Certainly, Dragon Lee is somebody that would be able to put on a good match with most people. But he really accentuated on the strengths of Obafemi in that match, and Oba went kind of beat for beat with Dragon Lee, and I was super impressed by that. And I don't think that Oba should ever be in the role of like a heavy or anything like that. In fact, I thought that after this performance, and say you get like another 6 months out of Obafemi and he is continuing to improve and continuing to face a higher level of talent, that he would be a prime candidate to take the belt off of Ilya. If they truly want to build somebody that is scary and like menacing and can take, because I feel like Ilya has kind of gone through everyone at this point.
Oba that would be a tall task, no pun intended, for Ilya. Like, it would be something that would be a justified loss if you build, and so it's weird because that North American title really should be a stepping stone to the NXT title, right? Like, that's just the way it should be built, but it's almost never really been that way.
Yeah.
Kind of since Keith Lee had held both of them and dropped, like they split them.
Well, I mean, it did work that way for Melo.
Yeah,
Melo.
I forgot about Melo.
That was recent. It depends. I mean, like it worked that way for Cole. Didn't work that way for Ricochet.
Yeah.
Just other things that happened on this card though that I enjoyed. Dijak and Gacy just put on a fucking wild match, and I'm really enjoying Joe Gacy's unpredictable character right now. Putting all the toy trucks and cars on the table and then putting Jack through it.
I'm really getting annoyed at he's the new Mick Foley. Like, bro, like he's not the new Mick Foley because there's never going to be another Mick Foley. Like,
and he's not the new Bray either, because that's another thing that people say too.
It's like he's just because he's some fat white guy doesn't mean he's got to be that's acting weird. Doesn't mean he has to be compared to these guys. But then again,
you could make like a comparison and not say like he's the new so and so.
Yeah.
You could say like there's elements because there are elements of Mick Foley that I see in Gacy, and there are elements of Wyatt that I see in Gacy, but I don't necessarily think that he's the next of either one of those guys.
It's just those are big shoes to fill if you want to say they're the next one of.
For sure.
I know you know what I'm saying in that regard.
But Dijak won this. Gacy is the one that I remember the most from this match, though. Really, when it comes down to it, I love Dijak though, and I think that
Dijak's in the perfect role in NXT right now. Yeah, him and Baron Corbin are literally just reviving their careers.
Yeah, they need to revive. Figuring him into something.
Maybe you figure him into the North American title picture. Him versus Obafemi would be a fucking humper of a match, and he can help carry him to a great one.
Yeah, absolutely. And they got to turn Obafemi babyface. Like, I mean, come on. Like,
he kind of is though. He kind of is.
No, he's not. No, he's not a
He
baby
doesn't,
face when he's randomly attacking Dragon Lee and the LWO. Like
but
it
he's
just
still being cheered as one. He's not being
well,
presented
that's
as one.
because
He's
the
being cheered
NXT
as one.
fans are very like tribalist and weird. And
Yeah.
like that's not that's I guarantee you that's not what they're trying to do, but that's how the fans are reacting.
Yeah.
You
We'll
know?
see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought that the opening match was a lot of fun too. Corbin and Braun Breaker. I think that they're
I would,
didn't
yeah.
know I would enjoy it, but I do.
I would give honestly. There's 3 matches on this show. I would give hot dogs. The opener, I really did enjoy.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think Baron Corbin's doing really good work. I would say that I would give a hot dog to Gacy and Dijak, and I would give a hot dog. And truthfully, I would give a hot dog and a handshake to the main event because for a multitude of reasons, but one of them being that was Trick's second match of the night. Man,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
so that dude just he is the most over baby face in NXT right now. And it's
For
not
sure.
even close.
He went the distance. I'm gonna give that match a hot dog.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe
man.
a hot dog. Yeah, I'll give it a hot dog and a handshake. Fuck it.
I'm all in on that match, man. When I watched it, I was like, sometimes when main events come around, I'm like kind of tired, but I was bright eyed and bushy tailed when I watched this one, and I was just
Yeah.
invested the whole fucking way. The whole way it
For
had
sure.
me, man. So
Yeah, man. Just looking at this card, would I don't know if I'd give a hot dog to anything else. I want to set a very, very high standard for these awards.
oh, okay.
You know, like for
Fair
me
point.
personally, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to abide by it, but
Okay.
I'm seeing, you know, a hot dog as like a great match, something I would rate like 4 stars. Hot dog and a
Okay.
handshake is something excellent that I would rate like 5 stars.
All right. So we're still feeling
what I
this
mean?
out. Understood. Okay.
Well, that's how I feel. I mean, we're doing hot dog and handshake because we want to highlight matches that we think are great and we think are excellent.
Okay.
You know, like we don't really want to, you know, give the attention to matches we're not too crazy about. Which, by the way, I didn't really watch the 6-person match. I didn't watch that at all. I think that the NXT tag team division is a fucking abysmal failure. And
It's a mess.
What the hell is going on with it?
It's a whole ass mess.
Yeah. But Baron and Braun, a lot of fun. I really fucking enjoy Baron's work since he's been in NXT, man. I give that guy a lot of credit. He's really stepped up his game a lot. I mean, like I see the guy hit like a combination Death Valley driver followed by a brainbuster, and I'm just like, did someone edit Baron Corbin's moveset?
Well, he knows what he's doing, man. He always has. It's just he's just one of those guys that, you know, he's not likable. So we get he's very
I think, you know what, that's so weird is like he's not likable on TV, yet I follow him on social media and he seems like such a fucking cool guy. Like he's always making something delicious at his house. He's highlighting really good whiskeys. He's going in the fucking box of Chiefs games and hanging out with Taylor Swift.
That's pretty cool.
Like the guy is fucking cool, man. Like I
he got to hang out with he got to hang out with Jason Kelsey, who is literally America's sweetheart. So,
bro, I want to see Baron Corbin just be himself more on TV because I think that people are really gonna like him.
I think he is being himself more, and that's why people like him more.
That's how this NXT run is working, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's been exactly that. And that's, you know, yeah, I like him. I dig him. I think he's gonna give you a solid match every time. He's gonna fit in where you need him. I like him. It might be a little, I don't think it's controversial to say he's similar to The Miz, but better in that he's always going to sort of fill in where you need him to. And he's going to put on an okay match here, like, and he's never going to be the weak link in anything, really, right? So to me, he's a cooler version of The Miz, who probably won't quite ever get as far as The Miz did, but is still essential to what WWE and NXT have been doing for the last handful of the better part of the last decade, really.
I think that in terms of work rate and versatility and what he's been able to do, I think that Baron Corbin could very well go down respected in wrestling circles the same way that Glenn Jacobs is right now. It's just like a big man who has been able to like fill in all these different roles, be kind of the jobber to the stars, make people look good.
That's the one you had to go with, Glenn
Well,
Jacobs.
listen, I know that's why I said very specifically in wrestling circles. I didn't say like all around respected.
I like to think that I'm in wrestling circles and
I think
fuck that guy.
you need to put your wrestling hat on and just think about
I know
how Kane has been booked and how Kane has been able to persevere as a character, and the performances that he's put on throughout his career. I think that we may look back on Baron Corbin a similar way.
You could say Big Boss Man.
A wrestling context.
You could say Big Boss Man too.
Yeah.
In a way.
Boss Man.
Yep. A really long career, always had good solid matches and was always around. But yeah, I get the Kane comparison too. A big man like that is always going to be hard to find.
Super reliable,
always reliable.
For sure. But yeah, I thought overall, I thought the NXT show was very solid. I think
good.
I thought we didn't talk about the women's match, but I think it was just kind of hindered by the fact that Lola Vice did a cash-in that was unsuccessful, and it was just fucking pointless and stupid.
I didn't like that.
It just took away from the match. It really did. And then,
I think Lola Vice has her
with Tatum Paxley.
I think Lola Vice has her place in NXT. I think she fits there in certain ways. She's not my favorite. I didn't like her jumping into this match because I like Roxanne and Lyra very much, and I thought they were having a good match up to that point.
Yeah.
And I just didn't. Yeah, it was kind of pointless there.
Not to mention too, it makes Lola's character look pretty dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really
if you want to keep that
even on commentary, I think Wade Barrett said or whoever was the color guy said, I don't know if I agree with Lola cashing in because I would have waited until both people are incapacitated.
Yeah.
It's like you're saying that on commentary.
Big dumb idiot.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, we had a pretty prolific Collision episode that happened on Saturday. I started off with amazing match of two Smarknado certified hosses. We had Eddie Kingston and Bounty Hunter Brian Keith, proven ground match for the Continental Crown Championship. Very hard physical match as we would expect. Kingston let Brian Keith come very close.
It was so close. And I thought Brian Keith was going to win. I really legitimately, there was spots where I was like, holy fucking shit, they're going to pull it. They're going to do it. They're going to
I wish I was as invested into it as you were. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to see it live because there was let's just say I wanted to watch it on an account and somebody else was in that account, and it just kind of ruined my plans of watching the match. And next thing I knew, I found out Brian Keith is all elite. Awesome, man. I thought that this was a hell of a moment. Of course, we already knew that Brian Keith was signed. He just never got his official graphic up here, had his official moment with Tony Schiavone in the ring, with Eddie Kingston in the ring. It was fucking awesome, man.
When Eddie pushes Tony off, he says, "Go talk to Brian. Go talk to Bounty Hunter."
Yeah.
Get it. So here, I just want to stop everything and just talk about something else before we jump into anything else. But the next person that needs their graphic is Queen Aminata, because boy howdy, this one is special, and they're showing it by putting her in matches with, she's losing, but she's getting put in every big match with every star. This young woman is fucking special, dude.
Yeah, she's really, really good, and they've been highlighting her on just about every show lately. So I think you're going to expect to see that. I think it's only a matter of time. as we know she is signed.
Serena
So,
Deeb and her put on such a humper of a fucking match, man. Like
that was awesome match. And I
for
would,
sure.
if it wasn't for the first two matches that happened on this show, if it was just kind of an ordinary episode of Collision, it probably would have been match of the night.
Yeah.
Yep. But it was awesome, and I think that Deeb is just she's going to show everyone again. Like, I know that you've said before that you think that Deanna is like a top 5 technical wrestler in the world. I maybe top 10, I think that Deeb has more of a case for that than Deanna does, just personally. I think that just the way that she wrestles is so similar to that of Zack Sabre Jr. and that she's just going to tie people up. You know,
you can make the argument for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm so excited to have her back, and it appears that Deeb is a babyface this time around.
Yeah, it seems like she's getting the crowd response of a babyface, so they're playing into it. But I think eventually she turns back into that vicious heel that she is so good at being in that role. So yeah. I would say that that's just a matter of time.
So going back to the first segment, and again, very much putting over the match between Brian Keith and Kingston. I'd say everybody needs to go out of their way to watch it. But after
it's a hot dog for me.
Yeah, it's a hot dog for me too. But after Brian Keith got signed, Dragon's music hit. Bryan Danielson's music hit. And I don't know if you saw a backstage segment. It was on like their Instagram page, but Eddie really took exception to the fact that Danielson rained on Brian Keith's parade. At least that's what his perception of it is. So I expect to see some sort of follow-up. I expect to see Brian Keith somehow involved in this skirmish between Danielson and Kingston. And I think out of it, we're going to end up seeing Danielson versus Brian Keith, which is exactly what Brian Keith has wanted this past year. You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They've talked about it. Brian has talked about it. So yeah, it's both Brians have talked about it. So yeah. It's coming. I'm excited for it. We're still definitely on the path to Eddie versus Danielson at Revolution, and I couldn't be happier to be part of that for sure.
Hell yeah. But this brought in Danielson versus Hechicero. Hechicero, one of the CML guys that has invaded AEW. Hechicero is kind of a power luchador, I would say, just looking at him.
Fucking badass, dude.
But he is somebody that is so technically sound, such interesting submission holds that he has. He showed out in this match, and it went a lot longer than I anticipated it would too. Another part of this match that I know that you're aware of, Dan, that was hilarious was Danielson putting Hechicero in a surfboard, Mexican surfboard stretch, and then Nigel is basically like, "Oh my God, same old shit, Danielson." And then Hechicero does the same exact move, and he's just like, "Oh wow, the technical expertise of Hechicero."
Yo, if Nigel had a jersey, I would buy that shit right now and hang it in the Haters Hall of Fame rafters. I love this man so much. He is the best, bro. Like he's low key. Him and Renee don't get enough credit for what great additions they've been to AEW. And if we ultimately get that Danielson versus Nigel, long time coming match at Wembley this year, whoo, that shit's gonna cook.
Yeah, absolutely. And I very much look forward to the month to 6 weeks leading into that match of how entertaining that TV is going to be. Yeah, we'll see that happen. Hechicero, certainly somebody that I feel is going to make repeat appearances in AEW, independent of the CMLL invasion that we're on right now. So, yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more of him. Yeah, other things that happened on the show, though, man. I gotta say, it's just House of Black with Mark Briscoe. It just feels like more of the same shit with House of Black. And
a lot of time biting, man. I don't know.
Yeah. And ordinarily, like maybe I would be into this, but I'm just at. If I didn't make myself clear last week, I'm at a very impatient point with the booking of Malachi Black, and I'm just tired of this fucking holding pattern that he's been in forever.
Was this not the same shit that he left behind in WWE, like almost to a T? Like it was him talking and not really like knocking at the door bullshit, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like that was his last gimmick, and it's essentially the same fucking thing. It sucks.
And he's I like the gimmick, honestly, but
it leads to nowhere. It leads to nowhere.
But they're just not doing anything with him.
Yeah.
And they're not putting him in meaningful feuds. Like I said, like I know that it's going to be Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong, and I know that Roderick Strong was picked for that. Personally, I think that Roddy in the last few months has just been annoying. I like him as a wrestler, but I think that Malachi Black going after the international championship against Orange Cassidy would be a more compelling storyline and would be awesome. And I think that'd be a great guy to take the belt off of OC, because as much as you love OC, I love OC. I feel like we've seen everything that we need to see as far as Orange Cassidy and the international championship is concerned.
I'm afraid that he gets lost in the shuffle if he doesn't have the international title, though. That's my issue.
Then get him another title or something. I don't know. It just
he's good with a title.
The fact that you're saying that you're afraid that he gets lost in the shuffle if he doesn't have a championship is systemic of a lot of the problems in AEW. It's like they're not coming up with a lot of really good storylines for these guys.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know,
that's fair. He's just also like sometimes there are wrestlers that are better with a belt. I think he is one of those. I think it's a good accessory to his character. That's all. I don't think every wrestler needs one. I just think that it works for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think other than that, the trios match main event was fun. I feel like it just kind of went a little bit too long overall. Yeah. But I thought that what stood out to me in that match the most was the back and forth between Nick Wayne and Daniel Garcia. It was really, really good stuff.
I think that has a potential to be a couple of guys that are going to do battle a lot of times over the next handful of years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here for it because they can both wrestle the fuck out of, each other.
Absolutely. So conveniently, we do have the Dynamite card that's coming up. So let's just go through it real quick and we'll just give our brief thoughts on everything that's going to happen. Okay.
Thoughts, brief.
First, we have the trios match, the Stars of CMLL versus BCC. Yeah, I think it
should be fun.
It's going to be very, very good. Yep.
Should be fun to watch. I like the CMLL invasion. I'm always a fan of a good invasion angle if it's done right, and so far it's been not overbearing and okay. So yes. I'm excited for it.
Next, Women's Championship Eliminator match: Toni Storm against Red Velvet. I think that should be fine, but Toni, I just want to see another segment with her and Deanna. Just get more of that story going because it's really good, really compelling. And then next we have a rematch from the DDT show a few months ago. Chris Jericho against Konosuke Takeshita. Fucking do something with Takeshita. Like the fact that I'm seeing this right now. Takeshita is facing Jericho. They have been so quiet with the Don Callis family as a whole. And it's a bit annoying to me. And I just, I want to see more of these guys.
I think it'll heat up. I think it'll heat up when Ospreay comes in.
I hope so. I hope so.
He's linked to that. He's a major signing. I think that's how they're going to ultimately introduce him.
Mm-hmm. Next, we have Ricky Starks, Big Bill, defending the AEW World Tag Team Championships in a tornado match against Sting and Darby Allin. I am fully expecting there to be a title change here, aren't you, Dan?
100%.
Yeah. And Ricky Starks is also someone that I've thought about lately that, like, if you thought about his booking last year, him winning the Owen Hart tournament and, getting the big push against MJF and just everything that, like, seemingly he would be a top player. We just haven't seen that. And I would like to see that focus happen once they drop these championships.
The international title would be good for him too.
Yeah, I think that'd be good too. Absolutely. Yeah. And then finally we have Swerve and Hangman Page. Winner getting a shot at the AEW World Championship at Revolution. Personally, I think that this is probably going to end up in a time limit or no contest, and it's going to end up being a triple threat match. You think so, Dan?
So there's one thing you've missed out on, and
I didn't miss. I'm saving that for the last.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Just like every episode of Dynamite, Tony Khan has a big announcement.
That's okay. Not like every episode. He hasn't said that in quite some time. So okay. As much we're not gonna overblow it, but I think I know what it is. What do you think it is?
Do you think it's Mercedes?
I think he's going to announce TD Bank for right after Revolution, and that's going to be TD Bank.
Announce what?
He's going to announce the Dynamite after Revolution as being from TD Bank, thereby sort of it like he did with United Center and Phil, introducing, not really saying it but saying it.
What's TD Bank again? Where's that?
In Boston.
Oh, okay.
The Garden.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So that's what I think.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. Other
no opinions.
What's up?
No opinions,
Daniel. Well, I mean that sounds about right. I mean, I don't put a lot of thought into Tony Khan's big announcements because I know that you just got a little defensive that he hasn't really said anything like that in a while. I just don't really like get my hopes up for his announcements. If it's a big announcement, cool, but I don't like to be strung along by him.
It's definitely a boy who cried wolf type situation. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's not, but he also hasn't said it in a while. And I think if it is this, that is a big announcement. That is worthy of what he did. So
definitely. All right. Another thing that happened that was notable this weekend was GCW had a doubleheader. First show they had in LA, and then the second show they had in Phoenix. I didn't see the one that was in Arizona. Did you, Dan?
I only saw one match off of the one in LA. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
We all know which one that one was.
Since Dan is such a WWE mark, the only match that he watched on the Game Changer Wrestling show was Dolph Ziggler versus Zack Ryder. So, okay. It was Nick Nemeth versus Matt Cardona. And they are different guys. And Matt Cardona said he was going to finish his story during the match and
hit him with the people's elbow.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. And then Nemeth did the Crossroads.
Yep.
This match was awesome, bro.
Nemeth super kicked Steph DeLander during the match. Nemeth's dad was in the audience.
We had a run-in from Ryan Nemeth.
Yeah.
The Hollywood hunk himself. Man, this match was so fun. I'm glad it was the first match.
It was a lot of fun, man. I just thought it was everything I was gonna expect it to be. I knew it was gonna be a lot of like silly shit that's gonna happen. So
it was fun as hell.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting a 5-star classic by any stretch of the imagination. It was two ex-WWE guys having fun on the indies. Two dudes that have known each other for fucking over a decade, having a ball. It was so good.
If I can put over some other matches that I saw on this card that I thought were really fun and entertaining, Chris Bay and Man Like DeReese, I love both of those guys. They had a really good match. Kerry Morton and Mike Jackson. I know that a lot of people don't like Kerry Morton for the sake that he is, Ricky Morton's son. He is just kind of a old school territory type wrestler who just gets heat and he's just a shithead. But that's kind of what made this match great and fun. And Mike Jackson is just a good sport, and he can still
I saw Kerry Morton live, man. He can get heat with the crowd. Like
he's a shithead. He's a shithead. And like I don't necessarily like the thing that I used to hate on Kerry Morton for is just I didn't think he was like a very good wrestler, but like he does all the other things in wrestling outside of high spots extremely, extremely well.
Yeah.
So we can kind of give him a pass on that. I thought Hammerstone and Charles Mason was fun. I know that you are an anti-Hammerstone person for some reason.
But I'm a very pro Mason guy.
Yeah, Mason.
So I want to see this.
This was good. I think that the Hammerstone, since Richard Holiday has come back, he has gone through this very interesting storyline. First of all, very public. Everyone knows that Richard Holiday beat cancer. Yeah. He came back. I think he started to embrace the fans again. And through this storyline, though, with Charles Mason, he has rediscovered that he is far better as a shithead and will continue to be that.
He's a great heel.
And he is a great heel, and he turned on Hammerstone, and him and Hammerstone went at it in the next show, which I still haven't seen yet, but I'm really just enjoying that storyline. And this is the most interesting I've ever seen Richard Holiday his entire career.
Richard Holiday?
Yeah. He's really stepped it up, man.
Okay. I always thought he was pretty good, but it's interesting. I still am intrigued by the idea that Hammerstone and Holiday and MJF were all in a faction.
We're in a faction together. Yeah, the dynasty, man. Yep.
So with some of them being free agents, it would be interesting to see them run that back because it's three guys doing really good work right now. Well,
absolutely
MJF is out with injury, but you know what I mean.
Los Macizos and Sander Moon versus Cole Radrick, Bobby Flacco, Mr. Danger was fucking crazy. I'm not going to give it a hot dog or a handshake. It was really just more of like the things that this dude, Mr. Danger, does is wild. Did a 450 through a table. That's a viral clip that's going around right now. So check that out. I will give a hot dog to Los Desperados, Ares Latico, and Gringo Loco versus Bodie Young Prodigy, Starboy Charlie, and Titus Alexander. Holy fuck, bro. The West Coast kids came to play.
They don't fuck around out there, bro. They do not fuck around.
Is 16 years old.
Yeah, they don't
16 years old.
The West Coast, they do not play, bro. They got some fucking talent out there.
I was probably the most impressed on that team by Titus. Starboy has really stepped up his game too. Like
Starboy Charlie is one of my favorite independent wrestlers right now. He got jacked. He knows his character. He's an incredible wrestler.
I hate his look though. I hate the overalls.
I like it. It's quirky. I like it like I like Tom Lawler's Daisy Dukes. It's just like not something that anybody else in wrestling does, and I like it for that sake, right? Like I think it fits his character, and yeah, is it corny? Yeah, of course it is, but like nobody else is doing it, so let him rock it.
Yeah, man. Also notable in this match is like everyone just worked their fucking asses off. I think that whenever Ares is in a lucha match, he just brings something completely different than everyone else that is out there doing it. Everything he does is unique, from his transitions to his submissions, to just the way that he moves in the ring. He
feels like a legitimate comic book character.
Right.
The way it's drawn.
I think a lot of times there is a valid criticism that a lot of Lucha Libre kind of like blends together. And there's like a lot of the guys that are, while talented, are doing a lot of the same spots and everything. But Ares is just separating himself from all of them. in that he is just somebody that is just completely different. He makes you pay attention to whatever he's doing, and I love him. And I think that he is just I think he is so important to the lucha scene, to the American
Nice guy,
and
too.
Mexican lucha scene too. Oh, that's awesome! You met him.
Yeah,
didn't know that.
he was here. He wrestled at the Charlotte GCW show, and I dapped him up. I was like, hey,
yeah.
He was friendly, you know.
And even Gringo too, just like he can do all the lucha stuff, but he is like more of a power luchador. So that's just something that's different that he brings to the table every single time. So that 6-man tag match gets a hot dog for me for sure.
Gringo is going to be one of the next up type guys, I think, man. Like he's
had
a long career. I think you're gonna see a lot more of him soon.
Gringo,
yeah.
Also, got to give my props to Dark Sheik. I think that she just put on one of the most impressive performances I've ever seen her have in GCW against Blake Christian. It was hella entertaining, hella brutal. They both went through like a chair table, you know, when you set up the chairs with each other. And it was absolutely fucking brutal. And I give Dark Sheik a lot of credit. I'm not a huge Dark Sheik fan all the time, but like I think that she worked her ass off in this match, and I liked it.
Another West Coaster, man, out here just fucking doing big shit. Good for her.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dan, I think you have another bit of news that came around the pike.
Yeah, it's the other day, Rossi Ogawa, the one of the main guys in Stardom was fired by Bushiroad, and there was a lot being said that he was a mole for WWE and preventing Tony Khan from getting Stardom talent and things of that nature. Obviously, I don't know the in-depth parts of it, but I do think that it's going to play into some future Forbidden Door type stuff and allow some more access to maybe Stardom talent that Tony Khan hadn't previously had that maybe he had wanted. So
if that rumor is true, I do agree with that. I'm glad that you elaborated on it too, because all the news items that I could find is like he is accused of poaching. They hadn't elaborated on what the poaching actually is or for what company. So I was just kind of confused about the whole situation.
I think that I was a little bit too. I dug into it a little bit because I wanted to know, because I was interested, because I had thought that Stardom had a decent relationship with AEW because of Megan Bayne, but was Megan Bayne not in Stardom? I thought she was.
Yeah, she was in Stardom.
I don't know. I don't know how all this stuff works. It's way above my pay scale, but I'm definitely.
I think Megan Bayne was signed to AEW and then they sent her to Stardom. I think that's how that worked.
Well,
yeah.
Either way, it's an interesting development in Japanese wrestling that could trickle over to American wrestling at some point. So I thought it was worthy of mentioning.
Yeah, and I saw recently that Ogawa he plans on starting his own women's promotion. So you got to imagine there might be some sort of exodus from Stardom for these women. That there are a legion of women from Stardom that are pretty loyal to Rossi.
Yeah, so that's what I've read.
It wouldn't be surprising if there was a bit of an exodus there. And I mean, I watched. Vice had some series like a few years ago called Wrestlers, and one of the things they highlighted on one of the episodes was Japanese women's wrestling. So I did learn a bit about Rossi Ogawa. Certainly seems like a weird dude. I gotta say it. It seems a little bit sketchy.
I think any dude that wants to run a women's promotion is probably going to be a little sketchy in some shape, form, or fashion.
Except Dave Prazak, who runs Shine and Shimmer.
Yes, Dave Prazak, you cool. Most of the other ones are creeps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. But yeah, I mean, like overall with this news happening with Stardom, all we can really hope for is just this will get more opportunities for us to see these very talented women wrestle stateside and maybe get access to their VOD services.
I'm wondering what it means for Julia, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah,
but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
that'll play itself out interestingly.
We will see how that all plays out. As always, guys, follow us on Instagram at Smarknado, on Twitter at Smarknado1. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and go check out our link tree. We have a bunch of different stuff you can check out. Our YouTube, we have all sorts of different interviews. We have our
Up there, bitch.
store. Go check out our QR code right up there at the top. A lot of really fun things along the pipeline, guys. We got Showabunga 2 that's going to happen on the 18th, Sunday, February 18th, from the Mecca in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. I'm going to be in-house for that. I hope to make some connections while I'm there. And a lot of fun stuff along the way.
So jealous. Yeah. We got some. Yeah, we definitely got some new sponsorships coming down the pipe, some new designs coming down the pipe, and such. So, with all that being said, stay fresh, cheese bags.
Keep watching wrestling.